In this video, I want to show you some motocross jumping techniques that's really going to help you improve your riding. What's up, Rad family? I'm Dakota Freeman, and welcome to the Rad Adventure Dude channel. It's going to be so important that when we want to learn how to jump a dirt bike, that we learn the proper motocross jumping techniques. There are going to be so many different ways that we can adjust our dirt bike as we're coming off the face of the jump, as we're in the air, and as we're landing. So in this video, I want to show you the proper jumping techniques so you know exactly what you need to do in different jumping situations. The first jumping technique that I want to go over is simply just our riding position. We want to make sure that we're standing in the proper riding position when we're coming off a jump to give us the best form in the air. We want to jump our dirt bike in the attack riding position. The attack riding position is standing on the balls of your feet. You're going to have your knees bent and gripping the motorcycle, and you're going to have your elbows up and your head over the handlebars. This is going to make sure that you have the proper riding position before you even start jumping on your dirt bike. As we're standing up like this on the dirt bike, one way that we can shorten our time in the air when we're jumping is going to be to absorb the takeoff. This is also a great motocross technique because if we're coming into a jump and we absorb the takeoff, this way we can actually come into a jump faster, be able to absorb the takeoff, and then actually not over jump the jump, but be able to hit our target landing much faster. To absorb the takeoff like this, we're actually going to be coming up the face while we're standing up in the attack position. As we're hitting the point where we're cresting the top of the jump, we are actually going to use our upper body to absorb the bike and actually let your upper body drop to the bike as you're pushing down on the handlebars as you come off the takeoff. Absorbing the takeoff like this is going to allow you to not get as much air time and actually be able to get off the ground and back on the ground faster on your dirt bike. The next tip that I want to go over is going to be how to preload on our dirt bikes. This is going to be the opposite of what we just covered. As we were absorbing the impact, now we're pressing our way into the suspension to help the suspension spring open while we're coming off the takeoff and actually launch us much further and higher on our dirt bikes. The way we do this is going to be standing in the attack position, and as we hit the takeoff, we're actually going to want to push our weight into the handlebars and our pegs. Seating our body weight on the pegs like this is actually going to compress the suspension, and now as we're accelerating off the face, as soon as we come off the face of the jump, our suspension is going to act like a spring and spring load us up in the air. This is how we can hit jumps that are bigger and be able to get the most air time out of our dirt bike. This is a very important motocross jumping technique, as this is going to make sure that you can hit the big jumps out on the track with ease. The next motocross jumping technique that I want to go over is going to be seat bouncing. Seat bouncing is how we're going to be able to come out of a corner and hit a big jump that has no time to set up for coming out of a corner. Seat bouncing is where we're going to do the same thing as preloading, except since we're so close to coming out of the corner, normally we haven't even had time to stand up yet. This is going to be where we're sitting about in the center of the dirt bike. We're going to be in the proper riding position with our elbows up, head forward, driving our body weight into the pegs. But since we're coming out of the corner here, we're going to have to come out of the corner very fast and be able to seat our weight into the rear suspension and accelerate all the way off the takeoff. This is how we can come out of a corner and hit a jump that we don't have time to set up for. When you seat bounce like this, you are going to want to pull back on your handlebars as you're coming off the face. As your weight being on the rear suspension like this is actually going to want to push your weight forward in the air. So as you're coming off the face, make sure you pull back on the handlebars so that your front end doesn't get too low in the air. You can also make sure this doesn't happen by accelerating all the way off the takeoff. That's also going to keep your front wheel nice and level as well. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you hit that and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. The next motocross jumping technique that I want to go over is going to be how we chop the throttle coming off a jump. What is this? This is where we're coming into a jump very fast and we have too much speed to continue accelerating off the takeoff. So what we're going to do in this case is actually let the throttle off and be able to coast off the face. When you coast off the face like this, your nose is definitely going to want to drop as you come off the takeoff, and you're going to want to use your upper body to pull back on the handlebars pretty aggressively so that the nose does not drop. This is a very important technique to getting faster at racing motocross, as you can come into a jump faster, let the throttle off, and coast off the face, absorb the impact, and have the most speed on your dirt bike coming into this jump. Combined with this jumping technique, we can also whip the dirt bike and scrub the dirt bike off the face. This is where we're coming up the face with a little bit of angle, and we're actually going to slide the tires off the top of the jump, and this is going to push our dirt bike out and away from us, and then we're going to have to use the gyro of the motor to actually straighten the bike back up before we land. So let's talk a little bit more in depth about this. As we're coming up the face, we're going to get to the very end of the jump lip. At the end of the jump, we're actually going to want to slide our body weight to the side of the dirt bike, and we want to make sure we turn the wheel as we come off the face of the jump. This is what actually sends your bike into a lower profile jump, to where we can jump this jump and stay lower and actually be able to increase our speed on the track. So make sure that you practice this with time, as this is going to be an advanced riding technique. However, whenever you're perfecting your motocross jumping techniques, this is something that you're going to want to practice to make you the best rider possible. Even if we're coming off a jump and we get kicked sideways and we're not expecting it, being able to whip the dirt bike like this and know how to grab a handful of throttle to get the gyro spinning on your dirt bike to actually straighten the bike out could really save you out on the tracks. The last part of this video that I want to cover on good motocross jumping techniques is going to be how to set up for a corner in the air. If we're jumping a jump and we're going to land directly into a corner, we need to know how to shift down in the air so that when we land, we already have the engine brake engaged and we can begin using the rest of our brakes as soon as we land. This is going to be super important because a lot of the time when we're out on the tracks, there's going to be a jump that lands into a corner. So coming off of this jump, as long as you let the throttle off, you don't even have to pull in the clutch at this point, and you can just shift down in the air using your foot. Shifting down is just going to re-gear the motor to where when you land, you're actually going to be using the brakes immediately. Your engine brake is going to be engaging, and you can get on the rest of your front brake and your rear brake as soon as you land. This is important so we can land on the brakes and be able to set up for the inside rut on a corner or a corner that you're landing directly into. So working on this over time is going to really help you get into these corners faster and be able to accelerate out of them quicker. Also, if you're landing on a jump and you can't get to the inside rut, this is going to be a great technique to help you land and be able to hit the inside rut on a corner instead of having to go all the way around the outside, and this is a great way to increase your lap times on your dirt bike. Rad family, I'm so proud of you for learning how these motocross jumping techniques really work and instilling them into your riding. I'm proud of you for wanting to become a better rider, and I can't wait to continue helping you. If this motocross jumping techniques video helped you, make sure you like this video and drop some comments down below and ask me any other questions that you have. If you're still looking for more dirt bike riding tips, I'm always here. I've made a full dirt bike riding course over on my website. It's going to walk you through being a complete beginner and take you to being an advanced rider mastering these tracks and trails. I also give away a free dirt bike beginner guide over on my website. Just sign up for my newsletter and I'll send it straight to you. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you click that and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. After that, you can watch my next video right here. Stay rad, and I'll see you over there.